vibing, baby. Let's get it. Let's ride. Let's have a good show. Smash the like button. Happy to have all of your beautiful faces here on this Sunday afternoon. Let's get it. Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of High Top Sports. Happy Sunday. Happy to have all of you here. I'm your host for the evening show, Pete Walker, and today we're going to be discussing a few things. We had some Twitter drama with Mr. Etienne, with Tate Casey, with Lewis Murphy. It was a Twitter-filled drama weekend that we have to address. We got to address all of it, talk about it. What happened? Is Trevor Etiene going into the transfer portal because of the destruction that happened on Thursday? We got to go over all of it. We're going to talk about SEC, how the rest of the field played out. Tennessee, South Carolina, a little bit of talks about Georgia, the ones that we care about. Kentucky as well, Mr. Leary out there looking a little flat as well. We'll dive into that. But before we get into any of that, it's been a few days since Thursday. I've been able to sleep it off, right? Even Friday, I still wasn't feeling too well. I've had time, though, now to digest everything. And then I went and watched Mr. Seth Farndorf's film breakdown. In phenomenal video. If you haven't seen it yet, it's about an hour and a half of him breaking it down. Not much defensive side on the breakdown, which I wish we could have seen more of that. But a lot on the offense. And I think watching it answered a lot of questions and concerns that I had, answered a few things that I felt were right. But seeing him slow it down and just kind of watching, again, him break down the film. We're going to watch a few things. I'm going to give you the shorthand version, my takeaways from that, and the pros looking into next week. Now, before we get into that, I already know some of you are already turned off, frustrated. One of our boys in here, Mr. Q Lee, I hope he's wearing his scarf right now because he got to be. He's frustrated, as he should be. I know a lot of us are turned off, and that's okay. I'm not going to try to come here and sue a lot of you over, but we're here. We're going to talk about it and focus on what's ahead, and that's how you have to be. I'm always going to be a half glass, half full. You guys know the drill. That's what we're going to rock and roll with. We're going to go into week 2, get right back on the horse, baby, and get it going. I also want to note, at 7:30, we're going to be going live with Mr. Stephen Chad Hawley as his Seminoles take on the LSU Tigers to close out, in a way, we got one more game tomorrow, but close out one hell of a weekend for college football. It was an absolute blast, especially that Colorado-TCU game, which we'll dabble into just a little bit. I know how much you guys love yourselves from Colorado. So happy to have all of you here, 160 on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Make sure you guys smash the like button and subscribe. The family is growing like an absolute weed, and I know I say that a lot, but it really is, and I can't thank you guys enough. Let's take a look. Let's take a look really quick at the poll. I did a poll here, 90 votes so far. I said, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for week 2? 10 of you said 34% of you said 10, and 38% of you said 3. And then in between we got 14% for 6 and 8. So you're either not really looking forward to it or you're like ready to move on. I wish we had more on 10s, but that's kind of how this fan base works. You know what I'm saying? Happy to have all you here, boys. But let's dive right into it. Let's get into the film breakdown. Where do we start? Let's go to the offense first. Couple takeaways that I took from watching this film. O-line is not as far off as it appears. Okay? What do you mean by that, Shelton? Well, again, watching the film breakdown, they stacked the box a ton. And I felt when I watched it, yes, whether here, and I'm going to get into this because there were some issues on the O-line. I felt, though, that Mertz had quite some time from play to play. Why are we running the ball a lot? If you go take a look again, we'll go take a look at some of this play right here. If you take a look at this one in particular play, which we're gonna use this play to really digest a lot of things here. But first, I want you to know is there's 9 guys in the box currently right here, and they do run the ball on this play, which we're gonna use this example a little bit later on. They probably should have pulled and kept going, right? And 9 guys. It was between 7 to 9 guys in the box constantly. So they weren't really giving us much, which tells us, hey, they respected the run as they should. We talked about it all year long. So for Graham to be able to come out and throw for how we did, obviously that now speaks to why we had 333 yards because, again, they were stacking the box, forcing him to throw. And there was times where they would bite the play action, which we're going to get into a little bit later on that we probably didn't utilize enough, which is going to fall on coaching. I'm going to get into all of that. But look, the O-line, to a certain extent, did a pretty damn good job given the fact that they were going up against they were being double swarmed from time to time. Now, does Slaughter have a few mishaps? Was there a ton of, just penalties that shouldn't have happened, miscues? 1,000%. My opinion, and I think we can all agree, those are easy fixes. Those are just disciplinary issues. That's like, look, guys, we've got to lock in on these play callings. And again, watching this weekend, a lot of teams had hiccups. Tennessee especially, and we're going to talk about them a little bit later on. I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. But the good thing about Tennessee is they were able to make these mistakes, but Virginia couldn't move the ball 3 inches against a high school team. So they couldn't capitalize on the woes from Tennessee. We weren't that lucky with Utah. And I'm not making excuses, just simply pointing it out here of how that played out. So again, outside of the few mishaps with the penalties on the O-line, I think overall, I'm excited to see how it plays into next week, how we carry on, especially when we do get Ngakoue Kingsley back. That's going to be huge as well, too. So don't hold your head too high on the offensive line. $5 for Shake Money. Says, win or lose, the Gator till I die and the fins up. Good luck, man. Yeah, absolutely. Fins up, Shake Money. Happy. Thanks for the $5, man. Appreciate you. Oops. Sorry there, boys. I was trying to move down the chat here. Trey says, where can I find the breakdown vid? Yeah, it's Varnador Films. Please go watch him. I don't want to take any credit from him. The guy did a phenomenal job. It's like an hour and 20 minutes. It's worth the watch. Especially if you love it and you just want to get a better feeling of where we're at. And we're going to get the play calling and all that. So let's go back to our checklist here. Need to capitalize on strengths. We're going to go right back to this film here because this breakdown that he's even showing is talking about capitalizing on our strengths. Our strengths are running the football, right? We know that. Because of that, as you can see here, they're stacking the box because they know that we can run the football. Well, with them running, we ran the ball here, and then, like you said, all these guys are biting. If we play our play action, which is also to our strength because our run game is so powerful, we've got Ricky Pearsall wide open here, and this guy up here, we've probably got on the inside because everybody bites on the run because that is our strength. And again, play action. There's a ton of other clips. And again, we have the rollout with Jonathan Odom. He's wide open. There were so many times when the play action just opened the field open so much for us that we went away from it for some reason because they were afraid of what we could do with the run because of what we did to them last year, which is good. That's a positive thing. And to be honest with you, we didn't see what the run team could do. We don't know what they can do. And also, there's times that, look, the guys run the ball, even with the 7, 8, 9 stacked box, they're getting 4 and 5 yards a carry. Not necessarily 4 or 5, maybe 3 to 4 yards, right? With it being stacked box, with the anticipation of a run, for those two guys to be able to still move the football has to give you some excitement and hope for the weeks to come. Now, we have McNeese State. We should do pretty well with that. But again, those are some of the pros that I noticed. Again, focusing on our strengths. If I'm part of the coaching staff, it's like, hey, where do we mess up here? Where are some adjustments? Now, I don't think I have it as a note. Let me see if I do here because I'm going to roll right into that. We do not. Okay. So speaking of adjusting, right, because this is a compliment that I gave to the defense. I don't believe that we did a good job, and this is going to go leading to another segment about offensive coordinator, which is what everybody's calling for, is you got to think, right, when you go back to the table, you're looking at the iPad. When you go back to the bench, you got to be able to look at this and, man, hey, we should have audible to this here. Graham, when you see this, when you see 7 guys in the box, I know you're running we're doing a run, but don't be afraid to call an audible here and throw off a quick slant because this guy's been open 3 out of 7 or 4 out of 5 times. Just look at the film, right? We need to have mid-game adjustments. And could that be a factor due to the fact that Billy's trying to do too many jobs? That has been kind of the narrative coming out of Thursday, and that is a high possibility, right? And so that was something that I watched that I think the defense did a good job into, which we'll get into when we talk about the defense. But again, watching the film, breaking it down, these are easy fixes. Now, if it doesn't change from week to week, this is where the concern for Billy is going to start to creep up, and I'm going to have a hard time keeping it hush-hush. I'm fully aware of that. Trying to stay focused here. If we, the fans, and if Varnador can break it down and make me see it in another light, you got to think those guys can see it. If not, I'm available, okay? From 5 to 10, Billy, you give me a call, I'll do what you need me to do. I'm just saying. I'm not quite sure what's going on here, but I'm trying to look at the glass half full. But again, watching this play, this is a perfect play where it's like, look, you got the box stacked. This should be an quick audible to play action. You got to watch this guy. If he's leaning here, you got to think, I got a quick rollout. I got a quick, 4 or 5 yards. It's 1st and 10. I mean, you got the hole wide open there. You got Ricky up the gut. Look at that. Boom. Gone. See you later. Even this guy runs maybe a drag route because all these guys are biting the run. They're anticipating the run, which is our strength. They should be nervous about the run. So that is something, again, my critique for moving into next week. Hopefully we're able to see some more adjustments, which I think the defense did a phenomenal job on. Last tidbit, or few more tidbits here. Run threat in the coming weeks, I would expect the run to crank back up. And hopefully, again, if we're able to capitalize on the play action, it will start to open up the run. Because if we're doing, like I'm saying, if they audible out of this and start, just chopping them up and slicing and dicing them, they're going to have to respect the throw, which then is going to open the run back up, which, again, is going to allow things to keep on moving, right? So, get a sip of water here. That's what I have for that there. Next on the task list, Merckx was exactly what we asked for. And the reason I said that, there was a play, and I meant to screen grab it, but I did not, and that's my bad. Where Graham Mertz, it's a 3rd and 12. They run their out routes, and then Ricky's running a wheel route. And if it's man to man, he should have Ricky. But they play zone, they cover it down. Ricky Mertz throws a check down to a drag route. I think it was to Odom, somebody. The play goes dead, and everyone's like, "What happened there? What are you doing?" And listen to Seth Varner. This is all Seth here. And he honestly made me realize, yeah, that's a good point. 3rd and 12 is tough to get a first down on. We drew a play up. That was dead. You check it down. Maybe you get lucky, but if not, you check it down. Take your medicine. You live to see another day, right? The goal is never to be at 3rd and 12. If you're at 3rd and 12, you basically shot yourself in the foot. Other issues happened up until that point. You can't look at a 3rd and 12 drive and we didn't execute like, oh, the team sucks. No. What happened the first 2 plays to allow us to get to that point? That's the concern, right? Not because we can't execute 3rd and 12. So that was a good point. It's like, look, he was disciplined. He wasn't going to just toss it out there, try to make a play happen. He came in and checked it down, did his job, kept us in the game without making dumb mistakes. And I think that's really important to notate that, again, Mertz was what we talked about all year long and then some. So that was, again, something to be excited about moving on to the coming weeks. And lastly, OC incoming. I don't know, man. I feel like this is where I think Billy, I think he carries himself very well, but maybe there is a little bit of an ego there where he has a hard time passing it over. I think he's done a great job of, again, recruiting, building this team, leading this team, but a great quality in leadership is being able to delegate. If you can't delegate something, right, then where are we at, right? Or if you can't delegate it to somebody else to be able to handle that offense and trust them to get it done, you lose a little bit of credibility. And the pro to that, I think the play calling was there. If you go back and watch some of the plays, Seth even mentions this. Love the plays. I think the play calling was great. I think where if you're able to separate the jobs, you allow for another person to come in and step in and go, hey, you're noticing this? Great play call, right? Love that you guys called this draw. They stacked the box. Someone needs to be able to have the accountability to call them out. There's nobody on the offensive side right now to hold Billy accountable for that. You follow? So if there's an offensive coordinator that draws us up, Billy can then go and say, hey, next time we need to maybe call an audible here because look what's going on. Right now it's just Billy. Nobody is checking Billy. And that is where the disconnect is. I think the play calling itself is fine, but it's the ability to adjust. There's no accountability going on. And I think that might be more of an issue than the actual play calling itself. And that's kind of, again, where Seth Varner breaks that down a little bit. So my last little tidbit there for the offense. $5 from man Chris Shorley says Florida averaged 7 yards on first down and somehow averaged 10.5 yards on third down to get a first down. Look, a lot of the stats support that the game should have went a different way as well too, which obviously it did not. So again, over 300 people in here. Make sure you guys show some love. Drop a like. Let's get to over 100 likes and subscribe. So that is all I have for the offense. Again, for breaking those things down and being excited. Next thing we're going to talk about is the defense a little bit. Adjustments to Nate as the game went on. So I think the defense, or excuse me, the Utah offense, they definitely got vanilla. Even Seth mentioned that as well as the game went on. Just don't make any mistakes, basically. But this play right here, this play is something that I think we're going to have to notate because we're going to run into this issue with Milton in Tennessee. With a quarterback that has the ability to run this triple option here that you're about to see. We're running man, and we just get burned. They make a great play call, and we get beat. Everyone does their job. Prinsley's doing his job here. He slips up. That doesn't slip up. Maybe we slow him down a little bit, and somebody else is able to react quicker, right? Couple things there. Good play call. It happens. That's part of the football, right? But after this, they no longer ran into man. They went back to zone, and they adjusted to that. Again, that was, my opinion, something that the defense did pretty well. Having to adjust to two quarterbacks and going back and forth, that was a benefit to Utah, which I mentioned. I was like, look, We keep saying it's third and fourth string, but now you have to prepare for two quarterbacks. And a quarterback like this, it's like that Tebow era. It's just you're getting to a rhythm, and it's like, oh, crap, he's in there. He can throw the football, but he can also run, a 10-5 or whatever it is down the football field. So you have to be prepared for those things. So get burned here. And again, with Tennessee, we have to be able to be prepared with what Milton can do with his legs. Watching him against Virginia showed that he will be a threat there. So hopefully they adjust, and we'll be able to see. I think the speed is there. Not that I saw it this past week, but the speed should be there. So love that we made some adjustments after this play, because Nate kind of, wasn't as impactful with his legs as the game moved on. I think we can all agree on that. The next thing I have for you guys is the open field tackle. I mean, that's just a straight fact, right? I mean, I don't think I have to, go over that anymore. The open field tackle was much better than it has been in a very long time, especially from Jason Marshall. Had a big one that really saved us. So loved seeing that and seeing that the open field tackles was much better as well. And I have a play here too. Discipline for the defense was huge, which something that we were kind of lacking, we were discussing. Was there enough discipline? Were guys that being held accountable enough because of the mistakes that were happening? But as Vonador points out, this play here shows extreme discipline. I clipped the wrong clip. Gosh dang it. Dang it. So in the clip that I had drawn up was a screenplay. And last year, and we've talked about this, the screenplay threw it out here, Tyreek Sapp pulls off, has the discipline to pull off and go get this guy, as did a lot of the linemen, versus just exploding through the D-line to get back here, which was a big issue last year. Britton Cox was somebody that I mentioned all the time. Like, oh, he's so great. Yeah, he just blows through the O-line and then looks back, and the football is moving, 10 yards down the football field. So a lot of discipline here, and the ability to, Tyreek Sapp was the guy who made the tackle, to pull off and to realize, hey, this is a screen. Let's make this happen, versus just being north and south and saying I'm gonna bull rush these guys. So that was another pro for me as well. But look, I think watching the game all night, even watching the film, I feel like the D-line got beat up pretty badly on this O-line. So look to see how they do against McNeese State. Shouldn't have any issues, you would think, but it is definitely something we're going to be keeping an eye on as the week goes on, because the D-line is something we have been high on, we've been excited about, we've been talking about the great things they're going to do, and they just didn't come out and explode like I thought they would. So toss it up. It is what it is, done and over with, but excited to see where things go. Look, kind of wrapping up this little segment here with the film breakdown. Again, shout out to Vonador Films. Go check it out. It's a whole hour and a half. Hopefully, if you guys wait till after my show to go watch it. But might have them on and, talk some more about it from week to week. I think that'd be great to have that conversation. But I think, again, watching his film breakdown, and again, watching football throughout the rest of the week, outside of a few teams, and I'm going to address that here in a little bit. But look, I think it's first week jitters. You know what I mean? It's just part of it. And we were going up against a team that is way more structured and way more dialed in than most teams had to face this week. And that's not an excuse. That's just fact. And you'd love to be farther along, but it is where it is. So that is it with that right there. Moving on to Twitter. So Twitter drama with the Etienne brothers and some past Gator legends as well. Again, boys and girls, smash the like button. Happy to have all your beautiful faces in here. Good to see you. Moving on to tweets of the week. No, I'm just kidding. So what's funny is the tweet has been deleted. So Trevor's bigger brother who plays with Jacksonville, as the TCU and Colorado game came to a close, Travis tweeted out, says, man, maybe Trevor should hit the portal and head over to play for Coach Prime. And I saw that and I go, oh, son of a bitch. Because I knew that it was more than likely a joke, because that's just the world we live in. You know what I mean? You're watching this game. There's 45 points being put up. Dylan Edwards rushed for like 145 yards and like 3 touchdowns, who was the freshman running back that decommitted from Notre Dame. It's exciting. It's electric. And Travis takes a jab. Not at a good time, right? Not at a good time at all. I love the kind of the dark humor. I'm cool with it. Again, when I saw that, I knew it was more than likely a joke, but I also knew the repercussions that would come from it. And then somebody had the audacity to put in a Gator room that I'm hearing Trevor's going to sit out for the rest of the year. He's transferring for... Oh, nonsense. Absolute nonsense, which gets everybody riled up. Everyone's taking the bait. It sucks. Thankfully, Trevor shut it down, which is very helpful. Says he retweeted his brother's tweet and said, "We finna shake back. Just wait." Love it. I'm glad Travis deleted. I mean, I don't know. You could have left. I don't really care. He deleted the tweet because I think he realized the backlash that came from it. Because it was, dude, what did he think was gonna happen? I don't know. That's what's Twitter, man. It's off the top of your dome and you fire one out. But everyone panicking doesn't need to panic. This is where we're at. I think Trevor's bought in. I mean, if you saw, Trevor was running the show. We didn't see Montrell Johnson very much at all. So I wouldn't be too concerned about this particular tweet if anybody was panicking. Everything's going to be just all right. All right. But look, there was a little shaky there in Gator Nation for a bit, and I get you. I get you. Here's some interesting stuff. And again, as some of you Gator fans are rowdy and fired up, I don't even want to read it because it's just like I'm tired of it. I'm ready to move on, and it's just like we're here, right? It is what it is. So Tate Casey, tight end from the Florida Gators back in that championship run, says the first two had 20-year combined tenure, referring to head coaches. The next three had 11. You want foundation built the right way for longevity. It isn't going to come with some heartaches. Personally, I'll take 2 to 3 years of pain if that means 5 to 10 years of championship caliber ball to follow it. Lewis Murphy, who also played for that team around that time, says, I don't know about that, brother. Team seems undisciplined, lacks passion. No one gets chewed out for mistakes. How many years of coaching you need to actually coach? So a couple of things here. Discipline, we don't see it on the sideline. It doesn't mean it happens, right? It could be because if you don't remember, again, people have such short memory, good and bad. When all the teams left, I think it was Chris McClellan came out and said, look, a lot of those guys couldn't cut it. They didn't want to handle the discipline that was happening here at Florida and didn't stick around. That's why we saw the mass exodus this offseason. So I don't believe that's to be the case. Lacks passion, I completely disagree because of how the team responded on Twitter, right? Trevor, Jason, Cam, all these guys say, hey, we're about to bounce back and we're about to rock and roll. I think there is passion. I don't feel like those guys showed defeat. They kept playing hard even when they were down and felt like they were out. Did they look tired at times? Sure. But lack of passion, I disagree with that. But look, I get his frustration, just like there's any Gator fan. They're going to have their opinions on it. Tate responded, I would agree with passion portion, so he thinks there is a little bit lack of it. And the ass chewing. Aside from that, how much can you take of a coaching change conversation? You go that route and you're still looking at a 2 to 4 year before getting back to contention. And I agree. I think that's the thing is that we keep wanting to redo this. We're just going to set it back even further. And he goes, I agree. I hate coaching changes. I think Dan should still be the coach, but that's a convo for another day. I want to address this as well too, because everybody was saying we need to bring Urban back and we need to bring Dan back. Again, we have a short memory because the reason we called for Dan's head was because he quit on us in the middle of the season and his team quit on him in the middle of the season. Do we all forget that? We forget how that happened? When things weren't going that way, he basically threw a fit. The team threw a fit. He wasn't recruiting, didn't care about that part of it because he just felt like we're going to win football games and guys are going to come here. Like we forget we're in this predicament for a certain reason. So that to me was kind of a little shaky to me. The other part of it is, and then Urban Meyer, the same thing. He quit on us. Things got too tough. Things got stressful, which I get. It's a stressful job, but he quit too. So I don't get that. But let's have that conversation. Okay, how long do you hold on when the team still lacks discipline from year 1 to year 2? The situational play calling is terrible, and that's just to name a few things on Twitter. So I think to say, that discipline from year 1 to year 2, I get where he's coming from. Again, 2 threes on the football field, the amount of penalties we had. Sure. I think we forget, again, the turnover from year 1 to year 2 is a complete 180 of the team was last year. Not making excuses, just simply pointing out facts. Those things are going to have a factor into it. But look, everyone has their opinion. They're frustrated. They're tired of losing. So everyone's going to not hold their tongue as much as they normally would. And I get that. I'm not trying to sit there and say that anybody's wrong in their feeling. But I don't believe that the team quit. I don't believe that the team quit. Look, how we're acting right now is exactly how we acted when Mullen was here. And that's why he was no longer here. So I wouldn't be surprised if we could go back and pull up Twitter histories that Lewis probably was calling for Mullen's head. Because I think we all let go of Mullen. I don't think there was anybody that went, man, should have kept that guy. Because in the moment, when we were all heated and hot, we snapped. We reacted. That's just what we do as people. So to go back and want to have 2 people quit on us, that's too much for me, I think. I think. Look, if we can all settle in and say, look, and agree, like let's give somebody X amount of years and not completely want to run to the pitchfork when shit hits the fan and just quit on somebody, we might be able to build something special here, right? Because we have to understand, like when we all panic and freak out, it's not only impactful to the coaches and our fan bases, but the players see this nonsense like, more than they ever have. And it's not a good look for them or for recruiting classes. So we got to chill out, got to relax in how we're voicing our opinions. Like we have a voice now more than we ever had before. We got to chill out for sure. But yeah, so a little bit of Twitter drama there. It was fun to watch. We're 400 people in here and not 100 likes yet. Come on, guys, smash the like button. It's free. Helps us out. Let's everybody know that we're doing a good job and that you guys appreciate what we're putting out. So I hope you appreciate what we're putting out. Oh man, Cooley, you got to stop, bro. You're supposed to be wearing your Gator scarf. I'm supposed to be chilling out, Q. You're still fired up. I need you to relax, okay? For me, just for 30 minutes. All right, boys and girls. Let me see what we have next on the agenda. What do we got queued up? What is this? That's not what I want. Is that what I want? Maybe that's what I want. Okay, so we'll talk about this a little bit. Because obviously I know the big thing too, we're going to get into Colorado versus TCU because that was just a fun game, but I'm also going to tie that back to Florida a little bit because I know the biggest thing was like if Deion can do this, then why can't Billy do it? And I have a response. Surprisingly, I know, Sean, you've got an answer for everything. That's what I do, baby. That's what I do. So SEC woes and toes, just made that up. Not sure what it means. Georgia. Look, I think Georgia didn't look anything spectacular, but I feel like the last few years, Georgia's come out and looked a little flat. Carson Beck's going to find his own. I was cheering for UT Martin just to kind of give them a little bit of a fit, but Georgia got the ball going, rock and roll. Do they look beatable? More than they ever have, for sure. But again, that's a team that from week to week, you don't know what you're going to expect. So I wouldn't look too much into that game. And it's funny, we're saying we shouldn't look too much into that game, yet we're over here just ready to ransack Bailey Napier and the boys. But all three of these games, you could probably just kind of sign off and say, hey, it was week one. South Carolina got absolutely manhandled by them boys out there in NC and Drake May. Absolutely manhandled. That O-line, boy, Spencer was running for his life. Running for his life. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. You thought our O-line looked bad. Spencer was running for his life, ladies and gentlemen. I think the defense kept him closer than what it was. I mean, that South Carolina offense Spencer was all over the football field. Couldn't do anything. So I love seeing that. That should excite us for that game. That it's not. Look, I think South Carolina, I expected them to be a lot further along than what they looked like on yet last night. I think North Carolina is a great football team. They're coming out of the ACC championship. They're expected to do pretty well this year in the ACC. So the ACC is starting to pick up a little bit. Again, Clemson's going to be Clemson. FSU is going to look, we'll see how they look tonight. But Drake May, he's a Heisman favorite. But that team all around just looked really good and really well coached. So excited to see what they're able to do. But yeah, South Carolina, my opinion, looked a little more, didn't look very sharp either. So, and then Tennessee ended up kind of getting things going. But here's something, again, it's fun playing a big game against Utah like we did, but it also sucks because you can't make any mistakes against a team like Utah. Tennessee early on, dude, had a ton of miscues, penalties, overthrows, turnovers, etc. Virginia had no clue how to play football. They basically were playing a UT Martin in Virginia. That's straight facts. And I'm not going to sit here and try to roast Tennessee because they got the job done. They're going to get better. Joe Milton looks extremely confident back there. There are some critiques that I could go sit here and really nitpick. I really don't care to do any of that, to be honest with you, because it is week one, and that's what it is. It's week one. It's your game one. You're breaking off the dust. Their defense looks really good. Again, it's Virginia. I think they make any defense look good. They're playing up against a high school team, but all in all, I think the team looks in sync. Again, they're playing a real game. Those woes and those mishaps, that momentum flips very quickly, which is what we had happen to us against Utah. Thankfully, Virginia could not capitalize to save their life. I mean, it was first down, second 15, third and 20. Every single time. They were either getting sacked, They are fumbling, like you missed snap, just dumb stuff. I mean, they just looked atrocious out there, an absolute wreck. And Tennessee couldn't really even capitalize on that. I don't feel like the score, it says 42 to like 13 or 42 to 10. I feel like the score probably should have been higher, right? I mean, I think Milton threw for 21 to 30 for 200 yards. Nothing crazy. But again, he gives you the ability to win football games because he is a talented young man. He's going to be able to run the ball very well. He can still throw the ball very well. However, we didn't see him face any adversity. The whole time he could stay calm. He can make mistakes. It's like one of those things when you go out, like when I play golf at a really easy golf course, you're playing golf against somebody who's not very good. You end up playing somewhat pretty well, and even if you're doing mistakes, you know it's not going to matter because the person you're playing with sucks, and they're going to just making more mistakes than you will. So you got to just go along your merry way. You're going to get it done. That's how it was for Tennessee in Milton. It didn't matter if they made mistakes. So that is something we'll have to see from week to week. What's going to happen? I think his first big test is going to be against us in the Swamp. So I think getting to him and rallying him early on is going to be something that's important. He's extremely confident and a cocky young man, as he should be. That's his job. So how do we rattle that confidence? And we'll talk about that more as the week goes on. But I'm sure Tennessee fans are gonna love hearing that. But all in all, I don't feel like anybody was really blew any socks off by any stretch. Even Ohio State struggled against Indiana for a little bit. But again, it's week 1, right? And I think that was the biggest thing is like everybody's kind of dusting off. Texas did not look very good against Rice. Quinn Ewers, I said this, the chance for the backups to come in, I think, are going to crank up more than what we think. I really, really do. What I saw last week, I would be more frustrated if I'm a Texas fan than anything because they're ranked 11th. They're picking to be in the Final Four for a lot of people. They did not look like a Final Four football team, nor do they look like a Big 12 championship caliber team last week or this week. So we'll see. $5 from Ben Smith. Says, I'm totally against firing Billy nonsense. However, the stupid coaching mistakes need to be fixed. Billy will get it right, but it will take time. I think, yes. I think it's going to take time, but it shouldn't take that much time, right? 9 sacks is ridiculous. Is that for Tennessee? Because I think that they had a ton of sacks. South Carolina had a bunch of injuries at the game, too. Well, that's fine, but their O-line would still look tore up. Penn State wins the Big Ten and playoff this year. Yeah, a lot of people are high on Penn State, man. They looked good. I wasn't very high, but they looked a lot better than they have in the past, for sure. Thank you for the likes, boys and girls. We broke 100. Let's even keep moving, though. We got over 400 people on a Sunday afternoon. Happy to have you here. Smile if your team's undefeated. That's good. I like that. Greg Whitlock. No one made Florida play Utah week 1. Well, we had them scheduled like years out. Like this thing was something that was made up a while ago. Look, I'm not making excuses. Like that's I don't mind it. It's part of the game. It is what it is. We scheduled Utah years ago, and you're 100% right. Nobody made us play them. I'm not. Look, if we thought we were going to go undefeated anyways, it's nonsense. That's just part of the game. I'm not trying to make excuses. I think, look, having a week 1 bye game is huge. It's good to get the momentum going. And, look, Tennessee capitalized on it. That's just what it is. Let's see here. You guys are a little out of control today. I'm trying to gotta move. Billy is so damn vanilla. Love him to death, but that dude needs to leave motivational speeches alone. Needs to leave the motivational speeches alone. I need some more fire. Bring me in, coach. I'll put my head through a wall for that team. You know what I mean? Got to utilize Wilson more. That was one last takeaway that I had to do for those boys. So let's talk about one last little thing before we go. And then 7:30, again, we're going to do a watch party. I messed that up. A watch party for the FSU and LSU game. Is Colorado real or is TCU just done for? I'm going to say both. I think both things are happening. Now, before I get into this, I do want to address the Florida situation because a lot of people are saying, man, look what Coach Prime's doing. Why can't Billy come in here and do that? Great question. I'm going to sidebar here, though. If we all remember last year, there was a coach that did the exact same thing that we were all asking. Well, if this coach can take his team to a national championship its first year, why can't Billy do it? That team that we're referring to and that coach that we're talking about, Sonny Gray. Yeah, the team that coaches this team right over here that just got clapped by a 1-11 football team after getting clapped in the championship and looks like on a slipperiest slope all the way down. So we were all crying for Sonny Gray. I guarantee you right now nobody's going to be knocking on his door to go scoop him up from TCU after what just happened week 1, and they don't look like they're going to be doing anything exciting with the weeks to come. But we'll see. Again, this is how quickly we are to react. It goes both ways. Now, back to Colorado. Are they the real deal or is TCU done? I think they did exactly what we thought they would do and then some. Offensively, I think they look fantastic. I think TCU, if they would have just ran the football, Colorado loses that football game without a shadow of a doubt. They would hand the ball off and run the ball for 10 yards easily. They just went away from it, and I don't know why. So there's some holes that Colorado has to fix. Doesn't matter. They got the job done. I think the Shedeur Sanders is a real threat to win the Heisman. Looked incredible out there. Mind you, wasn't much defense being played. I'm not taking a shot, just simply playing facts. However, to throw for over 30 completions for 500 yards in any given day is extremely impressive. Dylan Edwards, true freshman running back, explosive. Travis Hunter, son, incredible plays by that young man. I think, look, Colorado is real in the sense that they're going to be much more competitive than people were giving them credit for. I think a lot of the Buff fans obviously were expecting some things. Do I think they're a championship team? No. Do I think they're going to compete for the Pac-12 championship? No. I think Oregon's going to knock them in the mouth. I think USC is going to knock them in the mouth. But I think they're going to be a fun watch week in and week out nonetheless because of what they can do on offense. A big concern was their line. I don't think that 3-4 defense that TCU brought really put too much pressure on the line. So we'll see how that kind of transitions from week to week. They play Nebraska at home. Look, in a way, they are going in just like Billy did last year against Utah. You go and get a big W. You've got a gauntlet, though, because now you're on this high, just like Billy was last year. Now you're going back home. Florida was going home at home against Kentucky. And a team that they felt, hey, we should be able to probably win this game. And obviously, Billy loses to Kentucky. I'm not saying Colorado's going to lose to Nebraska, but that's a big game. How does Coach Prime and the Buffs handle week to week and with just the hype that has happened? It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, but it's going to be something that's going to be fun to watch and keep an eye on. But look, I think they are a real legitimate, not a threat, but they're the real deal. They're going to be, again, a team to be reckoned with, especially in the Big 12. I think they're going to have some fun next year. I think the Big 12 seems to be wide open, especially with TCU falling off, Oklahoma and Texas leaving. That Big 12 division is, again, going to be wide open for anybody to take home with for sure. But yeah, the Pac-12 is much better. It's crazy. Pac-12 looks extremely solid for it being this last year together. UCLA, obviously, they were a threat last year. Oregon, we expect to be good. Washington, they looked pretty solid once they got comfortable. Penix, obviously, another Heisman favorite as well. Oregon, I already said them, I believe. Oregon State, obviously another big one. And then, of course, the juggernaut that everyone's expecting is USC and still Utah. I mean, I think, Utah being the defending Pac-12 champion. So, yeah, the Pac-12, man, yeah, 100%. Much better than what the Big 12 looks like right now. Big 12 looks not as strong as they did. Now, I know Oklahoma put up like 73 against Butch Jones, poor guy. But it was Arkansas State, so let's not get too carried away with those there. But look, man, it was a fun weekend for college football. It was fun to have the quad screen going. It felt good to be back. Had a great time with Steve yesterday watching those games, and it's only going to get better from week to week. So make sure you guys subscribe, smash the like button, stay tuned. We're going to always have a good time and keep this train going. Thank you for all who hopped in here on this live on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. 440 strong. Again, smash the like button, boys. Love you. Thank you for coming in again. 7:30, about an hour on the clock here. 45 minutes. LSU takes on Florida State in Orlando. We're gonna have old Mr. Steven Chad on. Hopefully he's good. We don't want to get him too upset. But we're gonna have a little watch party. So if you guys want to come in there and bust his bubbles and poke him a little bit, come on in. But I don't condone any whatever actions he takes after the fact. It's your bed. You're gonna have to sleep in it. So go LSU. I just throwed up. Yeah, I don't know who I want to go for, man. It sucks. It sucks. I don't want to see Steve too upset, but it's the FSU fans I can't really deal with. You know what I mean? I don't have too many LSU fans on my timeline that I don't know what I mean, but FSU fans, oh, could you imagine? You know what I mean? It's the fans that really fire me up. Let me see how before we close out here, boys. Let me say hey to y'all. You guys are just arguing with one another. I don't even know if I want to talk because of just it's like we're like a family, you know what I mean? And we're at a family dinner and everyone's just bickering. Like nobody wants to listen anymore, right? One cousin makes a bad move and we're in complete turmoil again. We were in such good terms. Everybody was vibing, hanging out, getting invited to baby showers and shit. Now it's just civil war. Civil war immediately. Like, stop it. Just stop it. We can all agree and disagree and kind of meet in the middle. Etienne is not gone. Gosh, this is insane. I can't read the comments. This is what sucks because the comments are so delusional that I can't even find like a middle ground. You know what I mean? So just think about that. Just think about that. You guys are throwing a fit. It's like having a kid and like you guys are arguing in the back seat. And I got to just turn the music up and ignore you because there's no working out with you people. You know what I mean? And I'm going to put you in the corner and make you think about your actions. That's what I'm doing. I'm not going to talk to you guys. That's how upset I am. Disgusted with the chat right now. We're supposed to be family. Okay? Love you guys. Be good. Stay safe. Smash the like button. You guys have a good night. Stay safe. God bless. Boogity, boogity, boogity. See you guys soon.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. I have no regrets, yeah, I'll tie up my chest. I'll never